I distinctly remember sitting in my biology class when the diagram of a human brain popped up. As my teacher was going on and on about the intricate workings of neurons, synapses, neurotransmitters, and a thing called the hippocampus, which honestly sounds like a university for hippos, I found myself captivated. While everyone was eagerly anticipating frog dissection, I was thinking about the fact that every thought, every emotion, every ability to be intrigued, and every spark of curiosity stems from these bizarre folded structures in our heads. But here's the thing, like introverts, neuroscience doesn't want all eyes on them. It is certainly excluded by its more vocal siblings. Physics, with its boasting of black holes, chemistry, with its wild reactions, and even psychology seems to claim all the fun with its cool personality quizzes. But when asked, what do you think about anatomy class? It's always the quiet, deep thinkers of the bunch. They give a split second glance before starting to answer the question. I wonder how many people know that neuroscience means the logic of the mind. Just think about it. Your brain does everything for you. It regulates your emotions, your heart rate, while keeping track of the single most embarrassing things you've done to remind you at 3 a.m. Why did I fall that day? But do we take a second to appreciate the efforts put into our service by our brain? Hey brain, thanks for your service. Have you ever thought why it's always sitting there, working 24/7 while getting zero credit? Like an introvert working in group projects. Without any recognition, it processes endless number of bits of information per second. Even when you're doing nothing at all, it's processing background information like memory consolidation, neural repair, and even subconscious problem solving. It's the most selfless form of abilities. Now, let me pose a question. How much of you is actually you? Are you making all of your choices, or is your DNA pulling the strings? Let's talk about genes, the tiny biological instructions that shape everything from our eye color to whether we binge read a book or host a party. One of the most researched genes related to introversion is the DRD4 gene, which helps regulate how our brain responds to dopamine, the feel-good chemical. If you have a variant called the DRD47R, this means you crave stimulation and are more likely to seek out social buzz and go out to party. But a shorter version can mean your brain is wired to get less excitement. But that's not a bad thing. That means you recharge better in quieter, low-key environments. But wait, there's another gene called the 5-HTTLPR. I know, it's a long name. This helps regulate how our brain responds to serotonin, a chemical tied to mood and emotional balance. If you've got a shorter version of this gene, you are more emotionally sensitive and naturally more reserved. But a longer version can mean you're more outgoing and adventurous. So, the next time you're at a party and you watch your extroverted friend just starting to light up while you're eyeing the nearest exit, remember, it's not just a preference, it's science. Now that we know how genes influence introversion, let's take a second to imagine how different sciences would behave at a party. Physics would, as imagined by most, be expanding on the different aspects of time travel by making dramatic hand gestures. Chemistry would be scooting their chair back and setting fire to, well, everything. And the reserved, pretending to be the responsible and raised adults would be who? Psychology, of course. But neuroscience would be sitting in the corner, absorbing and taking notes on everyone, then later writing a research paper on how dumb my friends are. Like introverts, neuroscience doesn't like to be in the spotlight or like all eyes on them, but they certainly deserve it. Because at the end of the day, understanding how our brain works doesn't just explain who we are, but also what we have the potential to become. So, the next time you're daydreaming, overthinking like me, or just want some alone time, remember, your brain is just working. It doesn't have to be the loudest person in the room to be the most important. So, to all my fellow thinkers and observers, whether in life or in science, your power isn't being in the loudest. It's being in the one who listens, who thinks, and who understands. Greatest powers are the quietest. Like introverts, neuroscience works behind the scenes, shaping who we are in ways we might not always notice. If we take the time to understand and nurture them, we unlock incredible potential. Quiet people have the loudest minds. This is said by one of the most renowned introverts, Stephen Hawking. Now, if this is the case, and quiet forces really can shape our very identity, isn't it worth listening to them? So, embrace the quiet, appreciate the unnoticed, and never ever underestimate the power of what works in the background, because that is where true brilliance begins. Thank you.